Police in Soweto are investigating 2 counts of murder and 3 counts of attempted murder following a shooting in Protea Glen last night. This comes after a police captain allegedly shot his girlfriend and her brother before turning the gun on himself. The incident occurred during the birthday celebration of the captain's girlfriend, who is also a police officer. It's alleged that the captain called his girlfriend away from the gathering and then shot her. 3 other people sustained injuries. Now, for the latest developments, let's take you to Soweto, where our reporter Ziniko Mhlaba is on the ground. Ziniko, are there new info, or is there new information, let me put it that way, that is coming through, making this a little bit clearer as to what could have led to this incident?
A very good afternoon to you, Protea. Yes, indeed, there is a movement now where we are. You'll understand that this is an incident that took place on a Saturday night and into the wee hours of today. And we understand that the actual tragic or the shooting of the former partner of the police captain was shot last night. And of course, with the younger brother, who is the brother-in-law of the captain, were shot just towards midnight. However, the captain himself shot himself in the early hours this morning when private security companies had reacted to an alarm which was a call for security personnel to come through. That call was made in the early hours. So upon understanding and knowing that there are some law enforcement agencies that are in the vicinity, he started asking people around if indeed they had called police officers, and that's when he started panicking and he turned a gun onto himself. So the families are here, however, they are still engaging privately as families. They are not engaging with the members of the media, but I do have a local councillor here of Ward 135 here in Soweto, Councillor Sindane, who managed to go inside and had engagement with families. So let's bring him in now to get more insights and how, maybe let's start, Councillor, with how the family is doing and what are the concerning issues and what is it that the families are busy with right now, just a general state of how the situation is inside.
Well, for now, the families are going to engage and discuss the issues of the logistics. As you would know, that the male counterpart comes from Rustenburg and the female comes from Limpopo. So for the sake of the burial, they are trying to have the logistics, because surely they are going to be buried in their respective provinces where they come from. But then for the sake of the children, they are trying to find one another. But they are shocked and they have not yet believed what had happened, because these couples, it's a couple that they didn't believe that they had differences to such an extent that it can end up in such a state.
But Councillor, just you've been inside, surely you were given an accurate chain of events. From your understanding, what actually happened factually in terms of the incidents and the time frames and the people who got injured? What were the circumstances of this tragedy?
Well, it was a celebration. It was a party, and the younger brother to the sister, the girlfriend to the younger brother to the sister, she had a birthday celebration. So it was a matter of they were just enjoying themselves, having a braai. But the captain and the partner, they were inside the house, they were having discussions. It was a lengthy discussion according to the eyewitnesses. And the lady came out first while they were still enjoying the braai. Then the man came out later. And when he came, he didn't say a word. He started firing shots at everybody who was there, including the children. Unfortunately, the children managed to run away and hide inside the house. Then when he heard the sirens of the law enforcement agencies, then he started panicking, and then he asked them, did you call the police? Did you call the police? And then upon realizing that he's cornered now, and then he turned the gun on himself.
Talk to us about those who were caught in the firing lines, those who were injured. What is their state right now? Do you have an idea in terms of the number, but also how they're doing?
It was 3 of them who survived, because in total it was 6. 3 passed on, and then the 3 were shot at, but they survived, and then the 2 children who were not shot at. So the 3 that survived, 2 of them have been released. They are back now. They are at home. We managed to speak to them, and they are still shocked. And then the other one, he did not. He's at the ICU because he was shot at the back next to a spinal cord. So they are still dealing with that individual.
We were talking about law enforcement agencies here. I understand that both the perpetrator and the lady itself, the lady herself was a police officer. The lady staying in your ward. What more can you share with us about them, but also where they were working, and if maybe you've seen some of their bosses coming through, maybe to pay tribute to the families or to engage for further investigations?
Well, the lady was staying here, it's true. The gentleman he had a house in one of the areas called Eloli. So he would come here to pay a visit and sleep over since this was a partner. But the lady, indeed, she was staying here. And then the visitation for now, I saw one of the station commanders coming from Hillbrow, who happens to stay in my ward as well in Extension 12. They've just came now to visit the family together with his colleagues. Probably they are here to offer the condolences and maybe to find out how can they assist.
In our earlier engagements, Councillor, you were worried or you raised concern about the issue of gender-based violence. But this time around, I'm not just talking about domestic dispute between average people. We're talking about, law enforcement officials who know about these issues, who practice in terms of their daily duties to protect people or to fight gender-based violence. Why is that a concern, especially in areas such as Protea Glen? This is where professionals stay, whether Metro Police, whether SAPS officers, but you're finding yourself having to deal with this situation.
It is disheartening to stand like this and address the nation when a police officer has killed himself and killed the partner. These are the people who ought to protect us. But I think the matter is we need to engage probably the seniors, to say, can you engage with your members? Can you provide counseling to your members? Maybe they've got issues that they are bottling up and it turns out like this. Even if it is a marital, even if it's a relationship matter, can they find a platform where they can be able to discuss these things, and boil it out and take it out? Probably Pope Crew will have to be engaged at this point in time as one of the leading unions that represent SAPS, and all other law enforcement agencies. It is also a concerning, considering the fact that here in Protea Glen, every month we bury somebody through GPV, and the sad part is that there is law enforcement agency involved. Either is the perpetrator or is a victim, and in instances where law enforcement person is a victim, the perpetrator is also a law enforcement agent.
Councillor, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. That's Councillor Sindane there. He leads Ward 135 here in Protea Glen, just giving us latest information coming inside the family home where the families are still engaging, but as he said, that the families are really very disturbed. They are not doing well at all when it comes to this tragedy. So that's where things are. Law enforcement agencies at a lower level, where these police officers were both stationed, just arrived. However, they won't be able to engage with us as members of the media, and of course the family, it seems as if it is not ready, or both families are not ready actually to speak out right now. That is why they deployed the councillor to be engaging with us. So that's where things are at Prati at this point.
Well, much appreciate. That's Ziniko Mhlaba there for us in Protea Glen, outside the home of one of the officers who would have been shot and killed last night.